Here is part 1 of your story, based on the title, Humans Invent an FTL Drive So Dangerous the Council. It's called an emergency session written in third person with simple, basic English, around 800 words, and free of any violated content. Part 1. The silence breaks for a long time. Humans were quiet. 200 years ago, Earth had been badly damaged by a solar disaster. Many believed humanity would not survive. Galactic Council, made up of advanced alien species, thought the humans were no longer important. They were wrong. In the far side of the galaxy, near a place called the Vixer 4 system, something strange happened. A small probe came out of the event horizon, a dangerous area where even light could not escape. No ship had ever returned from there. But this one did. The probe was not Threxian, not Zelari, not any known species. It was human. The news spread fast. The Galactic Council called an emergency session for the first time in 50 years. All member species gathered in the Grand Hall. On the planet Telvanar, the hall was massive, shining with glass and silver. Filled with floating chairs and translation lights, High Counselor Varix of the Zelari opened the session. His voice echoed calmly, "We have received an object from the Vixer 4 region. It was not destroyed. It carried a message, and it is from Earth." Whispers filled the hall. Some species didn't believe it. Others were afraid. Ambassador Jeeks of the Threxians, known for their deep logic, stood and said, "Impossible. No species can travel through Vixer 4. It bends. Space crushes time." But the evidence was real. The probe had traveled over 7,000 light-years in only 3 days. No warp drive could do that. Ain't no wormhole gate was that fast. The probe had done the impossible. Attached to the probe was a simple message, translated into Galactic Common. "We have returned. Humanity stands." Shock turned to fear. The humans were not only alive, they were powerful. The Council began to ask questions. How had they built such a drive? What kind of power could survive the laws of space itself? And most important of all, was it safe? The Vixer 4 system had been a natural barrier, like a locked door. No species had passed it. If humans now had a way through, what else could they do? In a side room, Counselor Toma of the Varnix species whispered to his aide, "We ignored the humans. We left them alone after their fall. But they did not stop. They built something ... dangerous. Some called it progress. Some called it madness. The Council agreed to send scout ships to learn more, but before they could launch, another surprise arrived. A live transmission. On every major Council screen, a human woman appeared. She wore a clean white uniform, with a calm face and clear eyes. Behind her floated a banner. Sol Command Blackstream Division. Her name was Dr. Elara Chin. She spoke slowly, her voice steady, to the members of the Galactic Council. "We greet you in peace. We are not here to threaten, but we cannot hide what we've done. The drive that brought our probe to you is real. We call it the Blackstream Drive." The room went silent. Elara continued, "It does not jump. It does not warp. It pierces reality. It folds the layers of space like pages in a book. It lets us skip, not travel." Many in the Council could not understand it. Even the smartest minds in the room were confused. The Threxians began running calculations on their glowing tablets. The Zelari stared in silence. Elara ended her message with a warning. "We ask only for respect and honesty. The Blackstream Drive is not a weapon, but it can tear open space if used carelessly. We share this with you, not to scare you but so you understand." Then the screen went dark. No threats, no demands, just a simple message. "We are back." Panic spread across the Council chambers. Some wanted to welcome the humans. Others wanted to stop them before things got worse. Some species feared humans would break the balance of the galaxy. High Counselor Varix stood again. His calm voice trembled slightly this time. "We must not act with fear, but we must understand. If this Blackstream Drive is real, then the very rules of space have changed." Outside the Grand Hall, Council guards stood at attention. In orbit above Telvanor, defense ships began to move into formation. In quiet corners of the galaxy, forgotten species who had been ignored by the Council started to whisper, "If the humans can rise," they said, "then maybe we can too." Silence was broken. Humanity had returned, and they brought something that could change the galaxy forever. End of part 1. Let me know when you're ready for part 2, or if you want any changes. Here is part 2 of your story, written in simple, clear third-person style with around 800 words. Interesting and free from any violated content. Part 2. The message from Sal after the shock of the human probe and Dr. Alara Chin's live message. The Galactic Council was filled with tension and questions. Many leaders gathered in the Grand Hall again. The Council was unsure whether to welcome the humans or see them as a threat. The silence in the hall was heavy. High Counselor Varix.com, but Sirius, spoke first. "We must learn more about this Blackstream drive. If what the humans say is true, then it is unlike any technology we have seen. But its power may be dangerous." The Zelari ambassador, known for caution, added the power to fold space and pierce reality itself. If used wrongly, it could destroy star systems. We cannot ignore this. While the Council debated back on Earth, the humans worked quickly. They knew their technology was a double-edged sword. The Blackstream drive was powerful but risky. It tapped into deep forces of the universe, forces not fully understood. Alara Chin, lead scientist and head of the Blackstream program, was calm but determined. She met with Earth's leaders in a glass building overlooking the shining cities of New Earth. "We must be careful," she said. "If we rush, we could tear space apart near us. But if we succeed, humanity will open the stars like never before." Her assistant, a young engineer named Yalan, nodded. "We can build safe routes, like bridges in space. They will be fragile at first." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council began receiving more transmissions from human ships. They showed detailed images of the Blackstream drive in action. Ships moved through folded space lanes, invisible paths that appeared and vanished quickly. The images amazed and frightened the Council members. No species had ever controlled FTL travel so precisely and secretly. The lanes were stable, but could not be traced or blocked by normal means. Ambassador Jix of the Threxians was worried. "This is a technology beyond our control. We must understand if it can be stopped or controlled before it spreads." But not all members of the Council agreed. The younger species, who had little power in the Council, whispered among themselves. They saw the humans as a symbol of hope, a species that rose from near destruction to great power. "If humans can do this," one young Zelari said quietly, "then maybe we can too." Some of these species reached out secretly to the humans, offering friendship and knowledge. Back on Earth, Alara prepared for a special broadcast to the Council. She knew this would decide the future of human and alien relations. The transmission began. Alara appeared again on every Council screen, standing on the bridge of a Blackstream ship orbiting Saturn. The station was quiet and full of light. "We have studied the Blackstream drive carefully," she said. "It is a breakthrough, but also a responsibility. We have created new lanes between stars, safe corridors that allow fast travel, but only if used with respect." She paused, then added, "We ask the Council to recognize these lanes and work with us. We do not seek war or control. We seek cooperation and peace." Alara showed detailed maps of the new Blackstream lanes. Star systems that had been isolated for centuries were now connected. The Council members stared at the images. This was not a threat. It was an invitation. But some voices remained loud and clear. "How do we know humans will not use this technology as a weapon?" asked the Zelari counselor. Alara smiled gently. "Because we know the cost. Our own history shows the dangers of power without wisdom. We will share this knowledge openly with the galaxy. Together, we can learn to use it safely." The debate continued long into the night. Some factions argued for strict control and limits. Others wanted to ban the Blackstream drive completely. Then a surprising voice spoke up, Ambassador Rin, of the Valkyrie, a fierce but fair species. I believe the humans are right. This technology can unite the galaxy, but only if we work together. The council began to change. The fear slowly turned to curiosity. The humans were no longer the forgotten species, but deep in the shadows of the Andros sector. Unknown to most, strange things were happening. Scout ships sent by the council to observe the Blackstream lanes returned with strange reports. Gravity near the lanes was different. Time seemed to move strangely. Some ships lost signals and returned days late. Some feared the Blackstream drive was tearing small holes in space. Back on Earth, Alara heard these reports. "You must study this carefully," she said. "There are forces at work we do not fully control yet." She ordered teams to improve safety and study the effects closely. The humans knew the risks. They were willing to face them as the council debated and the humans worked. The galaxy waited. A new chapter was beginning, one that could bring danger or hope. The question remained: could humans show the galaxy that power was not just in strength, but in wisdom? End of part 2. Let me know when you want part 3 or if you want me to adjust anything. Here is part 3 of your story, written in simple third-person style, around 800 words, and free from any violated content. Part 3. Shadows over Andros. The council had allowed human ships to continue testing the Blackstream drive, what with close observation. They wanted to learn more before making a final decision. To study the effects, they chose the Andros sector, a quiet area of space filled with empty stars and silent planets. It was far from major trade routes, and no species lived. There, a council scout ship named Seekers, I entered the Andros sector with a small team on board. The crew included scientists from the Threxians, Zelari, and the Varniks. Their job was simple: watch, record, and report. At first, everything seemed normal. The stars shined as always. The space was quiet. Then the humans arrived. A Blackstream test ship called Horizon Flame entered the sector. It was long, dark, and smooth, like a needle in space. The human ship moved slowly, then stopped near a large gas giant. The scout crew watched with silent wonder as the ship began to activate its drive. The space around the Horizon Flame started to shimmer. Not glow, but bend, like looking through thick glass. A humming sound filled the scout ship's sensors. Even though there was no air in space, strange waves of gravity touched nearby moons. Light around the area flickered as if confused. One Threxian scientist whispered, This is not just travel, this is rewriting space." Suddenly a bright flash appeared, but it was not an explosion. It was a fold in space. The human ship vanished, not by jumping or warping, but by moving into another layer of space. It left. Behind a ripple, like a soft scar on the stars. The Seeker's eye recorded everything. 3 hours later, the human ship returned. No damage, no problems. The crew waved calmly through the transmission screen. "All systems stable," the pilot said. "Blackstream Lane is holding." Council team was shocked. They had seen it with their own eyes. The drive worked, but something else had changed. Gravity around the planet was no longer the same. One of the moons had shifted its orbit slightly. Space felt thinner in some areas. The background radiation had strange patterns. The Zalari scientists, careful and wise, took notes. "It is working," she said, "but it is changing the fabric of space. Even if it is safe now, what happens after hundreds of uses?" Back on Telvanor, the council received the report. Some were impressed, others were afraid. Varix looked at the data and frowned. "They are bending the rules of reality itself," he said. "Even if they are careful, can anyone truly control such power?" Many council members began to argue. Some wanted to shut down all testing until more studies were done. Others said the humans should be trusted, as they had shown no signs of aggression. But a few leaders from powerful species were thinking differently. In private meetings, they discussed plans to secretly copy or steal the Blackstream technology. They feared being left behind. "If we do not have what the humans have," one of them said, "we will be under their shadow." Meanwhile, back on Earth, Ilara Chin sat with her science team. They had received the same gravity reports from Andros. Lara's face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. This technology is not perfect, she said. We must slow down. To understand the deeper effects, one of her team members, Yalin, looked worried. Do you think the council will use this against us? Ilara nodded slightly. They might. Some will see us as a threat, no matter what we do. But that is why we must lead with wisdom, not pride. She called for an update of all safety systems. New protocols were added to monitor each Blackstream jump. Extra sensors were placed near the fold points. They would now measure space pressure, gravity shifts, and time distortion. The next human test ship, Silver Wind, was sent with these new tools. When it entered the Blackstream lane, the fold was smaller and gentler. The team was learning. They were sharing the results with the council in real time. Some council scientists began to respect the human effort. A few even asked to join their studies. But deep in a hidden corner of council space, a secret meeting was held. A group of high-ranking leaders, worried about the growing human power, agreed on a dangerous plan. They would send a spy ship to Earth to find out how the Blackstream drive worked and, if possible, to take the design. They named the mission Silent Pulse. The humans did not know yet, but shadows were forming around them. The stars had changed. So had the game now. The future would depend not only on who had the most power, but who used it with care. End of part 3. Let me know when you're ready for part 4, or if you'd like to adjust or expand anything. Here is part 4 of your story, written in simple, third-person style, around 800 words, free from any violated content. Part 4. The line in the stars, the council was divided. Some members trusted the humans. Others feared what they had made. But in secret, a few powerful species had already begun their own mission. Silent Pulse. The Silent Pulse ship was small, fast, and built with stealth technology. It carried a team of spies from different species: Ilari, Threxian, and Varnix. Their goal was simple: sneak into Earth's orbit, enter the Blackstream station near Neptune, and steal data about the drive. They moved quietly through space. Hidden from sensors, their ship used dark energy sails to drift like a shadow. No signals, no noise. Back on Earth, Ilarichin was preparing to meet the Galactic Council face-to-face for the first time. She would welcome them aboard the Solace Station, a peaceful platform built near Saturn. It was clean, quiet, and filled with soft blue lights. Everything about it was calm because Alara wanted peace. Inside, she practiced her speech with her. "Assistant Yolan, you think they'll listen?" he asked. "They have to," Alara replied. "We're not trying to rule. We're trying to help. But they must see that we won't be controlled." She wore a simple suit with Earth's new SNU, emblema silver star inside a ring. Behind her, the stars of the solar system sparkled in silence. When the council's ships arrived, Lara greeted them with kindness and respect. High Counselor Varric stepped out first. He looked around the station with wonder. "This is peaceful," he said. "We don't want war," Alara said. "We only want to travel freely and safely." The Blackstream drive was built for survival, not power. Inside the main hall, Alara showed the council a map. Dozens of Blackstream lanes had been created. The lanes were safe, tested, and monitored. "This is a gift," Alara said. "We offer this to the galaxy. No tolls, no restrictions. Only cooperation." The room was silent. Then, a Threxian counselor asked the big question, "And what if someone misuses this drive? What if it falls into the wrong hands?" Alara did not blink. "Then we will stand together. We are not keeping the knowledge secret. We will teach, but also protect." At that moment, an alert came through Alara's private channel. "Unknown signal approaching Neptune station," the voice said. She kept her face calm and continued the meeting. Meanwhile, the Silent Pulse ship had reached orbit around Neptune. Its team moved quickly, sending a drone toward the station's main data tower. The drone was small, like a flying crystal. It slipped through a maintenance hatch and entered the network system. But the humans had prepared for this. Hidden inside, the station's systems were Quantum Trap's digital guards that looked for anything unnatural. The drone triggered one in a second. The system locked the tower and sent alerts to Earth. Alara saw the warning and signaled her team. "We have an intruder," she said. Jalen looked at her. "Do we respond now?" Alara paused. "Not yet. Let's see what the council does." She returned to the meeting and showed more results. Blackstream travel was now safer. New safety fields had been added to protect nearby planets. Time distortion had been reduced. Energy flow was smoother. The council listened carefully. But then, Alara did something unexpected. She held up a small device. A tiny screen lit up, showing the image of the silent pulse drone. "This," she said, "is a spy device. It was found inside our system today. Someone here did not come in peace." The council gasped. Varric stood. "We did not approve this." Alara nodded. "I believe you. But some among you have acted without your knowledge." The room was quiet again. Then she continued, "I am not angry. I am not here to accuse. I am here to show something else." She tapped the screen again. A second image appeared. It showed the full list of species who had secretly contacted Earth. Dozens. Some were young. Some were small. All of them had asked to join the Blackstream network. "These species have been ignored for centuries." Alara said, "They want a chance. We are giving it to them." She looked directly at the council. "You ignored us when we were weak. Now you see us as dangerous. But we have not changed who we are. We adapted. We survived. We learned. We invite you to do the same." The council was silent. Then Varric slowly nodded. "You are right," he said, "and perhaps it is time for us to adapt too." Outside the station, the silent pulse ship turned away. The mission had failed, and now its leaders would have to explain their actions. Inside, Council began drafting a new agreement, not a demand, not a warning. An accord, the stars had drawn a new line, and the humans were no longer behind it. They were walking forward, with others following close behind. End of Part 4. Let me know when you're ready for Part 5, the final part. Here is Part 5 of your story, written in simple, engaging third-person style, around 800 words, and free from any violated content. Part 5. The first accord, the tension in the galactic. Council was thick as the leaders gathered again in the Grand Hall. After the failed spy mission and the open invitation from the humans, the council knew that things could not stay the same. The galaxy was changing, and the humans had forced everyone to face it. High Counselor Varric stood at the center, his voice calm but firm. "We cannot ignore what humanity has created. The Blackstream drive changes the rules of space travel forever. War over this technology will only bring ruin." There were murmurs of agreement and some disagreement, but the truth was clear. The council needed a new way forward. For days, representatives debated, wrote, and rewrote a new agreement, one that would recognize the Blackstream drive and the humans' right to explore, while also creating safety rules. The humans wanted no control or weapons. They wanted respect and cooperation. On Earth, Alara Chin watched the news from the council. She knew this was a fragile moment. If the council accepted the humans, it would change the galaxy forever. Not conflict was likely. Then the council sent a formal invitation. The first accord would be signed at the Solace Station, the same peaceful place near Saturn where Alara had first met the council. As the day arrived, the solar system was quiet but alive with anticipation. Ships from dozens of species hovered in orbit, all watching. Inside Solace Station, Alara prepared. She was not wearing armor or medals, just her simple Earth uniform. She wanted to show the galaxy that humans were ready to lead with humility. The council members arrived. Varric and Ambassador Rin of the Valkyrie were among them. The younger species, the ones who had quietly supported the humans, were present. The hall was filled with light and calm voices. Varric stepped forward and spoke. "Today, we write a new chapter in galactic history. The first accord recognizes the Blackstream drive as a tool for peace and progress. It allows all species to explore beyond their stars." He paused. "But it also requires responsibility. No species shall use this technology to harm others or to claim control. Ilara stepped forward, her voice clear and steady. We accept this accord. We believe in cooperation, in shared knowledge, and in a galaxy where no one is left behind. Looked around the room, her eyes meeting those of the council members. The stars are open to all, and humanity will stand not as conquerors, but as partners. The hall erupted in quiet applause. Outside the station, the first Blackstream lanes were activated under the council's watchful eyes. Ships from many species traveled through the lanes, arriving faster than ever before. Trade routes reopened. Lost colonies were contacted again. Exploration surged. But there was one secret that only the humans knew. Deep inside Earth's hidden command centers, the Omega Protocol remained ready. Final Defense, a weapon built with Blackstream power capable of collapsing a star system. It was a warning, not a threat. Ilara often thought about it. Power must be a shield, not a sword, she said softly to Yolan. The galaxy was watching. The humans had stepped out of the shadows. They had survived their darkest hour. Now, they were ready to lead the stars into a new age. The first accord was only the beginning. The future was open. And humanity was no longer afraid. End of part 5. If you want, I can also help expand any part or create more stories.